If you have problems with the bobbin thread showing on the top of your project when you're free motion or ruler quilting, you're going to want to watch this video because I have some suggestions for how to fix this. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst at Chatterbox Quilts, and I've had people ask me about problems they're having or contact me because they're having problems with their bobbin thread showing on the top of their quilt project when they're free motion quilting. And this can happen when you're using different threads, either different thread weights or different thread colors. And especially when you're using different thread colors, you're going to see that on the top of your quilt. So there's a few ways you can get around this. First, and the very easiest one, is to match your threads top and bobbin, right? Use the same exact thread in the top that you're using in your bobbin, all right? If you're not using the exact same thread, you could use the same color thread. So maybe you want to use a lighter thread in your bobbin, for example. But if you're using a navy blue thread on top, try and get a lighter, thinner thread that's also navy blue to use on the bottom. That way, if your bobbin thread does happen to come up a bit, you're not going to really see it. But let's go back to that initial problem where I have a different color thread in the bobbin. Doesn't matter whether it's different weight or not, but just a different color and a different color thread on top, and you're really seeing those bobbin threads come up. We call them pokies, okay? Nobody wants to have pokies on their quilt, right? So what can you do? Well, it comes down to thread tension, all right? And you know you can change the thread tension on your machine, right? Yeah, okay. Set at the factory, sure it is, but you're going to be using different thread weights than they used in the factory, I'm sure, and you have to adjust when you're using different thread weights, okay? So on the machine I'm using today, I'm using a Janome CM17, and with different Janome machines, you can use what they call a blue dot bobbin case holder, and that's for free motion quilting. So that's the first thing I would put in, because this is going to give you the best tension in the bobbin area. So we don't consider the bobbin area right now, okay? When I've got that bobbin case holder in, I'm looking at the top thread. And like I said, you can adjust your thread tension, and you should adjust your thread tension, all right? So let's first take a look and see what the problem is, okay? What the problem looks like. So you can see here, I think, that we've got this kind of cream color thread on the top, and we've got this lovely bright pink color on the bottom, in the bobbin, I should say. And you can see that this is coming up at the top. Now you'll especially notice these little pokies when you come to sharp points and change directions, all right? So you can see it there, you can see it in the top here, and in the bottom here as well, but you can see it all the way along. Now, the back of the quilt looks pretty much okay, right? The back of the quilt looks just fine, but the front, which is where we're typically most concerned about the look, isn't looking great. So let's start playing with our bobbin. Or sorry, with our top tension. No, the bobbin, we're done, okay? The bobbin, we're done. So let's start reducing our tension. So you're going to have to do some practicing to see. Now, I have taken this down. The default setting for this is 4.6 for my thread tension. And I'm going to take it way down. I'm going to take it down to, let's see, how about, depends on your machine how it's going to jump. This is jumping by 0.2, so I'm going down to 2.4, okay? So you're going to try this out and you're going to see what it looks like. And it's helpful if you're doing the same motif, okay? Because if I'm doing this as like a swirl and then some sharp points, if I start doing something totally different, I may not have that problem anymore. But you know, whatever motif you're working with on your quilt that you're having the problem with, that's the one you want to practice with. Don't switch motifs here at this point, okay? So bring up that nice bright bobbin thread and locking our stitches so we can start here. And by the way, when you are using two different color threads in the top and bobbin, it's probably best to bring up your bobbin thread, pull it out a ways, and then leave it. And you're going to later knot that thread with the bobbin thread and the top thread, and then bury them in your quilt sandwich. If you go back and forth like you just saw me doing, then you're probably going to notice that bobbin thread no matter what you're doing with your tension. So don't do that. Avoid that little pokey that you're going to see when you start quilting, okay, by burying your threads. All right, if you don't know how to bury your threads, what that's all about, check above and check below because I have a video on how to do that. All right, so let's start again with that swirl and see where we're at now. Okay, normally I'd lock my threads, but we're just demoing, so I'm not doing that right now. Okay, so how are we looking comparing to the other one? Well, It might be hard for you to see, but I can see that it's getting a little bit better. Okay, so up here I had quite a bit of that pinky thread showing. I don't have nearly as much at that point. Again, same here, it's a little bit better, but still, I can still see that bright pink coming up from the bobbin. So, you know, even going to 2.4 isn't going to cut it in this particular situation. So we're going to go more, which is actually less. We're going to decrease more. Okay, so we are going down to 1.0 for tension. Ooh, this sounds so scary, doesn't it? 1.0, that's just crazy talk, right? Well, let's see how crazy it is. Because we know that our top thread, the tension is too strong. That's why those bobbin threads are showing on the top. That's why you get those pokies, is because that top thread is stronger and it's pulling up the bobbin thread. So we need to make it weaker or decrease the tension. Okay, let me start with this one again and see. Okay, you're going to be burying your threads, right? You won't do this. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so this is looking much better, as I would expect it would. I'm still getting a little bit of that pokey, you know, a little bit here, but nothing right there actually. So that's looking much, much, much better. What does the back look like? Now the back is going to look a little different because I'm expecting to see, although I'm not seeing much of it, I'm expecting to see some of my top thread down here. I really am not. There's a few little places, but it's looking pretty good. I would say that's definitely acceptable. And I know for you guys, it might look a little bit different than what it's looking, because the camera will pick up things a little bit differently color-wise, but it's looking much better. And as I said, we're mostly concerned with what it looks like on the top of the quilt, right? I mean, we want the backing to look pretty good too, but you know, everybody looks at the front, right? Unless it's a reversible quilt. Okay, we're not going there, right? We're not going there. So I may have to take this down even a little bit further, like maybe just one more, to get it as perfect as possible. But the one thing I want to say to you is you may find, even playing with your thread tension, that you're not going to get it to be perfect, okay? So I did mention how you could get away from this issue using the same thread top and bobbin, or at least the same color thread top bobbin. And I have another little secret I'm going to tell you in just a minute. But before I do, I just want to bring your attention to an icon you may not have noticed that is underneath my videos now. And this is a heart with a $sign inside. And this is called a super chat. So this is a way, or super thanks I should say, this is a way for you to help support the Chatterbox Quilts channel and my small business. So for as little as $2, you can donate money to help me to buy the different items that I use when I am filming these videos for you. So if you care to donate money, I should say, you can just click on that icon and contribute what you think is appropriate. Thank you so much for supporting Chatterbox Quilts. Now, I did mention there was something else you can do here, and this is kind of a little secret in the quilting business. So if you are pretty happy with how this is looking and just have the odd little pokey that's coming up, you know what can be a really good friend to you? Well, Sharpie markers. Okay, you know the big Sharpie markers. Let me just grab one here to show you what I'm talking about. I am talking about these ones here. Sorry for bumping the camera. The Sharpie, they say fine point, but they're not really that fine. They're pretty thick, right? These markers come in all different colors. I think I've got like about 24 different colors of them. And you can actually take these and color in your little pokey to match either the thread color or usually the fabric color. And when you do that, you really, really do not see that thread pokey anymore. So that's a little bit of a secret that works very well. And so if you have some Sharpies around the house, or if you don't, you can always pick some up and they can be a really good friend in the quilt studio. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And while I talked about how to handle thread pokies in this video, you might be wondering about how to quilt your quilts. Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. Check out this video I've included just for you. That'll give you all the information that you need. For more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.